You don't need more motivation. You need rules, brutal ones. Ones that don't care how you feel. Ones that hold, even when your life falls apart. Ones forged in war, not wellness. The Stoics weren't influencers. They were emperors, slaves, exiles, warriors, men who bled and kept moving. Men who lost everything and still lived with power. And you've been lied to, told discipline is a vibe, that it comes from apps, journals, hacks, but the truth is, discipline is law. And today, you're going to learn 8 brutal Stoic laws that'll forge unbreakable discipline, even when you have nothing left in the tank. But listen closely, because the last law, the one at the end, is the most brutal. It's the one most men skip, the one they're too soft to hear, and the one that might just save your life. So lean in, turn your brain on, and prepare to take notes, because what you're about to hear isn't advice, it's orders, and if you follow them, you won't need motivation again, you'll become unstoppable. And first law teaser, cliffhanger, law number 1 begins now, and it hits like a blade. Let's go. Law 1. The weak wait to feel ready. The disciplined act, especially when they don't. This law kills hesitation. It kills softness. It kills the lie. Now listen carefully. What if I told you that waiting to feel motivated is exactly why you keep losing? You think you need motivation. You don't. You've just been sold a lie. They told you to wait for a spark, to feel aligned, to get your why right, to visualize, to light a candle, to journal about your feelings. Forget all of that. The Stoics didn't wait. They acted, whether they felt like it or not. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Be one. Not when it feels right. Not when it's comfortable. Now. Discipline doesn't come from motivation. Discipline kills the need for it. Because motivation is emotional. Motivation is conditional. Motivation is unreliable. It's loud when life is easy, gone when it's hard, gone when you're tired, gone when you're anxious, gone when no one's watching. That's not strength, that's slavery. Real warriors don't rely on feelings, they rely on laws, fixed, cold, commandments, not mood-based suggestions. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. Marcus Aurelius. No negotiation, no excuses, just action. Weaponized have you lost to your own feelings? How many workouts skipped because you were tired? How many ideas wasted because you didn't feel ready? How many mornings delayed, projects ignored, conversations avoided, because you were waiting for some mythical emotion to show up? Here's a truth you need to tattoo on your brain. The mission doesn't care how you feel. It's 4:45 a.m., cold. You didn't sleep well. You feel heavy. No energy. No hype music. Just you and a voice inside saying, skip it. No one's watching. You deserve a break. That's the moment discipline is forged. Right there, in silence, in struggle, in solitude. No one applauds you for brushing your teeth, but you do it. Why? Because it's non-negotiable. That's what your training must become. Marcus Aurelius didn't get to feel inspired before ruling Rome. He didn't check his horoscope before commanding armies. He acted. Plague, betrayal, war, loss, still showed up, still wrote, still led. Do what nature demands. Get up. Meditations, Book 5. This is the ancient mindset. Show up, no matter what. Discipline is built when you act in spite of your state, when you push when you're empty, when you execute while hollow, when your soul feels like quitting, but your will stands up anyway. That's what makes you dangerous. A lion hunts whether it's hungry or not. A builder lays bricks in rain or sun. A warrior sharpens the sword, even when no battle is scheduled. And you journal. You wait for the vibe. No, kill the lie. The lie that says, I'll start when I feel like it. No, you won't. You'll rot there. You'll decay waiting. You'll stay stuck because motivation is soft And life is war. You know what's harder than doing the hard thing? Regretting that you didn't, looking in the mirror knowing you flinched, knowing you betrayed yourself again. That burns longer than a workout. That haunts deeper than any tired morning. So build your code. I train even when I'm tired. I work even when I feel blocked. I show up even when I feel nothing. Not sometimes, not on good days, always. Pick the one thing you've been avoiding, that habit, that discipline, that small boring action, and do it today. Not because you're inspired, because you said you would. Cold shower, push-ups, journal entry, inbox cleanup, 15-minute work sprint. Doesn't matter. Pick one, do it without thinking, then do it again tomorrow. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace. Epictetus. And when your mind resists, when the excuses scream, when your body says tomorrow, smile, because now you know what that is. That's the battle. And you don't wait to feel ready. You step into war every damn day. Law 2. If you train in comfort, you'll collapse in chaos. Choose pain, seek cold, sweat on purpose. Discomfort is the forge. Step inside. Let this one cut deep. Then stop chasing comfort. Stop worshipping ease. Stop waiting for life to hit you before you toughen up. Start choosing pain on purpose. Because the moment you start seeking voluntary discomfort is the moment you stop depending on external pressure to grow. Comfort is a silent killer. It seduces. It softens. It strips the edge from your mind. And one day you wake up, motivation's gone, discipline's weak, and you have no idea how to fight back, because you've never trained in hell, only in air conditioning. We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared. Epictetus. The Stoics didn't wait for hard times. They simulated them. Seneca, a wealthy Roman, a respected philosopher, would sleep on the floor, eat stale bread, wear rags, live like a beggar, not because he had to, but because he needed to remember, with this what I feared. He was training his mind, hardening his soul, choosing friction, so that when loss came, it wouldn't break him. Voluntary discomfort isn't self-punishment, it's self-armoring. You fast, not to lose weight, but to remind your body you're in charge. You take cold showers, not to boost circulation, but to stare resistance in the face and act anyway. You train in silence, not for zen, but to hear your own excuses and ignore them. Comfort tells you, take it easy, save it for tomorrow. Discomfort whispers, good, now we're getting somewhere. The average man avoids discomfort at all costs. He skips the hard workout. He picks the easy conversation. He reaches for junk food. He quits when it burns. And then he wonders why his discipline is soft, why his confidence collapses under stress, why his ambition dies quietly in the shadows. Because he never built resilience, never practiced suffering, never trained when life was good. So when life hits hard, he folds. You don't want to be that man. You want to be unshakable. Then choose your pain now, before the world chooses it for you. Start small. Cold shower every morning. Turn your phone off for 12 hours. Eat the same plain meal for 3 days. Wake up at 5 a.m. and walk outside barefoot. Train without music. Go 24 hours without complaining. Not for aesthetics, not for Instagram, but because these little sufferings, and each one whispers to your nervous system, I can handle more. Modern world has made weakness convenient. Every hunger instantly fed, every thought validated by an algorithm, every moment of boredom killed by a scroll, and every time you give in to that ease, you trade your edge for dopamine. You don't rise by being comfortable, you rise by choosing what others avoid. It's Friday night. Your friends are out. The couch is calling, but you train anyway. You say no to the drink. You hit the reps. You go to bed early. That one choice, it's invisible now, but it echoes forever. because you weren't waiting for a crisis to grow. You were creating your edge in silence. It is in times of security that the soul should prepare itself for difficulty. Seneca, you don't wait until you're bleeding to learn how to fight. You fight now, you sweat now, so that when life punches, you smile with blood on your teeth and say, "You're late, I've already been here." Discipline gets easier when discomfort becomes familiar. The gym at 6 a.m. stops being brutal. Cold showers stop being a shock. Early mornings stop feeling heroic. Why? Because your brain stops resisting what it expects. Voluntary hardship turns hard into normal. And once you're operating from that level, no crisis can break you. Let others wait to be tested. You test yourself daily. Let others panic when life crumbles. You train for collapse on purpose. Let others seek motivation. You've already built the weapon. Here's your protocol for today. Pick one comfort you've been clinging to. Strip it away. Replace it with deliberate discomfort. Set a 7-day rule. No backing out. No negotiation. Maybe it's cold showers. Maybe it's no sugar. Maybe it's waking at 5 a.m. and walking in silence. Doesn't matter. Do it because it's hard. That's the whole point. Comment this now. Comfort is my enemy. I train in discomfort. Say it. Live it. Discipline isn't born from ease. It's carved from the grind you chose. Law 3. You don't control the finish line. You only control the foot in front of you. Rewards are rented, but effort is yours. Always. Time to lock in. Tell you something that might sting a little. You are not owed results. You're not owed success because you showed up once. You're not owed discipline because you journaled. You're not owed greatness because you want it badly. You are only owed the work. You've been brainwashed to believe effort equals reward. To believe that if you try hard, you win. That if you suffer a little, the universe owes you a payout. But life doesn't deal in fairness. It deals in facts. And the fact is, outcomes are never guaranteed. What's guaranteed? Your effort, your execution, your focus. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Epictetus. That's the Stoic blueprint. Do the work. Let go of everything else. You go to the gym for 7 days. No six-pack. So what? You keep going. You launch your idea and no one claps. So what? You refine and reload. You give love and get silence back. So what? You love anyway. Because the moment you tie your identity to the result, you become fragile, emotional, reactive. One bad day can shatter you, and that's weakness. You post something online. It flops. Now you're depressed. Why? Because you tied your worth to likes, not to the courage it took to post it in the first place. Let that sink in. You did something bold, but you still let metrics determine your value. That's the trap. The Stoic path is different. You show up like a soldier. You build like a craftsman. You train like a monk. Not for applause, not for reward, but because it's who you are. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome while burying children and fighting wars. Do you think he judged his life by how easy things felt? No. He wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." What does that mean? It means today is the battlefield. Today is the proving ground. And your weapon is focus, process, precision. Let's get tactical. Let's break it down clean. You can't control how many people notice. You can't control how fast results come. You can't control when life gives you a break. But you can control your next rep, your next word, your next decision. That's what matters. You owe the effort, not the win. You owe the discipline, not the dopamine. You owe the consistency, not the comfort. Because when you detach from results, you become lethal. You stop hesitating. You stop obsessing. You stop fearing failure. Kobe Bryant shot 1,500 jumpers every day. Not because every shot landed, but because his identity wasn't a winner. His identity was, I show up and put in the reps, period. The result was just a bonus. That's the Stoic way. Process over praise, beauty over dopamine, craft over outcome. You want to build discipline. Start falling in love with the grind itself, not the glory. Fall in love with early mornings. Fall in love with the sound of weights clanging. Fall in love with silence. Fall in love with building something no one sees. Fall in love with you versus you. Because here's the brutal truth. If you don't learn to love the process, you'll quit every time the outcome disappoints you. Anyone can act when it's working, but discipline is doing it when nothing's working and showing up again anyway. That's the difference between average and unstoppable. Here's your protocol for today. Pick one area of your life where you've been outcome obsessed. Let go of the scoreboard. Build a process you can repeat daily. Execute that process like your life depends on it, because it does. Write, train, build, study, reflect, repeat, repeat, repeat. Not for the win, for the war. You're becoming strong enough to fight. Comment this now. I choose process over outcome. Every single day. Say it. Live it. Let the world chase results. You just keep building. Wag, borsel found by ten roblog Bobby Tongatot. What de begin about strong keep is Lee. Wag, beefing loves time you at sure. What a never scorched to knock. Law 4. Life will not hand you peace. So you train in the storm. You learn to breathe in the fire, control under chaos. That's real strength. This law prepares you for war. Everyone wants to be disciplined. When life is peaceful, when the calendar is clear, when you're well rested, well fed, and nobody's testing you. But that's not real. That's not life. And that sure as hell isn't strength. Quote tone solemn. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Translation: chaos isn't the problem, your reaction is. And that's exactly what this law is about. Training inside the storm, not waiting for it to pass. See, most men are disciplined until things get inconvenient, until plans change, until someone triggers them, until their schedule gets wrecked. Then the mask falls off, and the truth comes out. They weren't disciplined, they were just comfortable. Discipline is not how you act when everything's aligned. Discipline is how you act when everything's on fire. You wake up late, you're tired, your girl's mad at you, your job just dropped another stress bomb on your head. Your brain is screaming, skip today, you've earned it. And right there, that's your battlefield. Your training didn't go to plan. Adjust, don't cancel. Your phone blew up with chaos. Lock in anyway. Your mood is garbage. So what? You move. Because this is war, not wellness week. Let me tell you something real. If your system only works in peace, then it's broken. The Stoics didn't teach calm by escaping life. They trained for chaos by mastering the inner arena. Epictetus was a literal slave, chains on his wrists, freedom ripped away, but his mind untouched. Quote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus. He didn't break when the world did. He trained inside it. You're sitting in traffic, late. Someone cuts you off. You feel your blood boil. You want to react, lash out, prove something. That moment right there, that's the rep. The Stoic doesn't yell. He breathes. He watches the emotion rise and refuses to obey it. Discipline is stillness inside madness, not outside of it. Your workout isn't real discipline until you train when you're mentally wrecked. Your commitment isn't real until you keep your word while you're hurt. Your silence isn't power until it comes after you've been insulted. Analogy: training only in calm is like a soldier practicing combat in a yoga studio. Looks clean, means nothing. Protocols. What does that mean? It means when chaos hits, you don't think, you execute. If I feel overwhelmed, I go for a 10-minute walk. If I'm triggered, I breathe 5 times before I speak. If I want to quit, I do 1 more rep. If I'm spiraling, I write for 2 minutes no matter what. Chaos doesn't break trained minds, it reveals untrained ones. You don't rise when it's easy. You rise when it's brutal. When the voices in your head are loud and you still move in silence, that's the mark of a real one. Repetition, rhythm, final lines with power. You don't skip when you're stressed. You don't lash out when you're triggered. You don't collapse when you're tired. You don't quit when you're anxious. You move, you breathe, you execute, you lead. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. And mastering yourself in calm, that's beginner level. Mastering yourself in chaos, that's power. Here's your protocol for today. Choose one recurring chaotic trigger in your life. Late start, emotional texts, sudden pressure. Pre-decide your response. A rule, a habit, a phrase, a breath. Run the protocol the next time chaos hits. No hesitation, no excuses. That's your real training ground. Final comment prompt. Declarative tone. Chaos is my training. I control the storm. Say it, own it, because the next time life hits you sideways, you don't panic, you don't fold, you lead. Law 5. No more deals, no more internal debates. You are not your emotions, you are your orders. Discipline is the command. Obedience is the code. Now execute. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you talked yourself out of doing the thing you said you would? You planned to hit the gym, but then you weren't feeling it. You were supposed to write, read, build, but your mind whispered, "We'll do it tomorrow. We're tired." You had the alarm set, but the bed felt warm, so you hit snooze. And just like that, you negotiated, you folded, and worse, you trained yourself to fold. Here's the brutal truth. Every time you negotiate with yourself, you get weaker, not just in the moment, but permanently, because you're teaching your brain something dangerous. I don't mean what I say. That's how self-respect dies. Not in one big moment, but in 1,000 quiet compromises, little betrayals, private losses. No one else sees it, but you do, and your subconscious never forgets. The Stoics knew this. Discipline isn't a feeling. Discipline is a decision you don't debate. You make a law, then you live by it. No excuses, no renegotiation. Quote delivery sublime confident. Rather, if it is humanly possible, know that you can do it. Marcus Aurelius. Translation. Make the decision, then shut up and move. Picture this. A warrior doesn't walk into battle and say, "Let me check how I feel first." He locks eyes with the enemy and charges. That's what your mind needs from you. Certainty, non-negotiable rules. Let me show you how most people fail. They plan with ambition, but act with emotion. They say, "I'm going to work out 5 times this week," but Monday hits and they feel sore, so they shift it to Tuesday, then Wednesday, then next week. They negotiated, and the deal they made was with weakness. You need to stop talking once the decision is made. Your brain doesn't need another vote. The jury is out. The verdict is in. Now execute. Mini story. Cold execution. Jocko Willink, ex-Navy SEAL, talks about this all the time. He wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every day, not because it's fun, not because it feels good, but because it's non-negotiable. The alarm goes off. Feet hit the floor. No thought, just protocol. That's how you break the pattern of self-betrayal, not by feeling motivated, but by removing the option to quit. Quote, delivery wise and sharp. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Mindset tone power but firm. Here's the mindset shift. You are no longer a guy who tries to be disciplined. You're a man of law, a man of command. Your word is binding, even when no one's watching. You wake up early because that's what you do. You train because that's who you are. You keep your promises because they're not up for discussion. That's what separates the average from the dangerous. discipline as identity. And the beauty is this: the more you follow through, the stronger that identity gets. Every non-negotiated action, more power, more clarity, more self-respect. You don't skip, you don't flinch, you don't hesitate, you don't ask for permission, you just do. You just do. Key shift moment, brain reprogramming, because once your brain realizes we don't negotiate, it stops resisting, it stops whining, it obeys, and that's when the game changes. You become consistent, you become calm, you become unstoppable, not because you feel great, but because your laws are written in stone. Here's your protocol. Write 3 non-negotiables for your week. E.g., train 5 Becks, wake at 6 a.m., 30 minutes deep work every day, post them somewhere visible. The rule: no discussions, no skipping, no emotional votes. If your brain tries to talk you out of it, smile and do it anyway, because that's who you are now. Final affirmation, powerful closure. Comment this now. I don't negotiate with myself. I execute. Say it, then live it. No more internal debate, only law. Law 6. Fall in love with the work, not the praise, not the win, just the repetition. Do it because it's right, not because it's recognized. Let's go deeper. Let's make something clear. You don't control results. You only control your reps. And the faster you accept that, the faster you build something unstoppable. You've been conditioned to chase validation, likes, views, praise, attention, progress. It feels good until it doesn't show up. Then what happens? You quit. You say, what's the point? You break your streak, kill your momentum, and call it failure. But here's the truth. The goal was never the result. The goal was who you become, showing up. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus. Translation: detach from outcomes, fall in love with the process. Let's break this down. You go to the gym for 2 weeks, no six-pack, no compliments. Do you stop? You write online for 30 days, low engagement, no viral moment. Do you delete your account? You ask someone out, they ghost you. Do you shut down and close off? If your answer is yes, then your discipline was fake. It was dependent, fragile, shaped by reward, not character. That's not Stoic, that's needy. The Stoic trains because it's the training that builds the soul. The Stoic lifts because strength is its own reward. The Stoic speaks truth because truth is what matters, not likes, not fame, not recognition. If your work has to be seen to be worth it, it's not real work. If your training needs a cheer squad, it's not real discipline. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. Translation: handle today, the rest will come, or it won't. Doesn't matter. Let's say you're building a business. You're putting in the reps, learning, showing up, revenue, still low. You're tempted to quit. But what if you asked a different question? Is what I'm doing sharpening me? Am I getting clearer, stronger, more disciplined, more capable? If yes, then you're already winning, because you're becoming someone who doesn't fold. That's the win. That's the process. And the process is the point. Paradox. Now here's the paradox. When you detach from the result, you actually start getting more results. Why? Because you stop chasing, you stop rushing, you stop gripping the outcome with anxious fists, and when you relax into execution, you flow, you focus, you last longer than everyone else. Think about this. The artist who paints with no deadline often creates the masterpiece. The fighter who's not obsessed with the win fights cleaner. The speaker who's not desperate for applause speaks with truth. Presence, pressure, process, outcome, craft, clout. Laat ontijds de tronel, schuwelijk ik scoons pondermansting. So say to right, you can you pleeks to costed right, takes hollinates. What happens after that is none of my business. Let others chase results. You build rituals. Let others pray for praise. You build systems. Let others refresh dashboards. You track execution, because the man who plays the long game always wins in the end. Protocol steps. Here's how you apply this today. Define your daily process, not your monthly goal, not your 90-day vision board, your non-negotiable process. Examples: clean, steady, train at 7 a.m. no matter what, write for 30 minutes daily, whether or not it's good, speak to one person per day about your business, show up like nobody's watching, because nobody is, evaluation tone, nighttime ritual. Then ask yourself this every night: did I live my process today? That's your scoreboard. That's your discipline. That's what builds the unbreakable version of you. You are not what you achieve. You are what you repeat. You are not your outcomes. You are your systems. You are not your praise. You are your persistence. Legacy tone, steady power. Let the world chase shiny results. You chase consistency, because the man who outlasts outwins. Comment this now: I don't chase results. I master the process. Say it, then prove it. Every damn day.
Law 7. You're dying. Every second. Every breath. Stop wasting time like you're immortal. Urgency is the edge. Mortality is your motivator. Now move. You're not going to live forever. You know it, but you don't act like it. You delay. You postpone. You tell yourself someday like it's promised, but someday is a lie. And deep down, you know that too. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Marcus Aurelius. That's not fear, that's freedom. Because when you accept death, you start living on purpose. Let me hit you with something brutal. You're not tired. You're ungrateful. You're not lost. You're distracted. You're not out of time. You're wasting it. You keep scrolling. You keep numbing. You keep lying to yourself that there's more time to start, to fix it, to get serious. There isn't. Your time is not a renewable resource. You don't get to reload this life. You don't get another round. This is it. And every time you delay action, you are trading your life for nothing. The Stoics meditated on death, not to get depressed, but to get focused. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. It's not just a phrase, it's a weapon. Here's how the modern world works. They keep you distracted, so you don't question where your time goes. They keep you entertained, so you never feel urgency. They keep you pacified, so you forget you're mortal. But not you. Not anymore. You're awake now. And it should scare you, because if you died today, how much of your potential dies with you? How many truths went unsaid? How many reps didn't get done? How many skills stayed buried? How many apologies never spoken? How many dreams never even started? Let that sting. Let it burn. Because that fire, that's your real fuel. Not coffee, not hype. Mortality. You said you'd start the business. You didn't. You said you'd write the book, record the video, build the body, live with discipline. You didn't. And now a year's gone, and you don't even remember what you did with it. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Seneca. Let that hit, because that's not a quote. That's a mirror. You have 24 hours today, same as every great man in history. The only difference, they acted like they were going to die. And guess what? They did. So will you. And the only question is, will your life echo after you're gone, or will it fade the moment your heart stops? Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop rehearsing. Stop assuming you have more time. You don't. Start building. Start healing. Start leading. Start choosing action over avoidance. Now. Rebroting. Want to live with purpose? Then live like you're already on borrowed time, because you are. Let death be your deadline. Let it strip away laziness. Let it kill your fear of failure. Let it silence your doubt, because at the end, none of that matters. What matters is that you tried, that you fought, that you wrote your truth, that you showed up for real, not perfect, present. Next time you look in the mirror, don't ask if you're motivated. Ask if you'd be proud to die like this, right here, right now. If the answer is no, change something today, not next week, not on Monday, not after you finish the show. Today. Here's your protocol. Look at your day like it's your last one on earth. Strip out anything meaningless. Choose one act of courage you've been avoiding. Do it before the sun sets. Repeat tomorrow, because eventually, one of those days will actually be your last, and you won't know it until it's over. Final comment prompt. Comment this now. I live like time is running out. Because it is. Say it. Then prove it. Not once. Daily. Law 8. You weren't built to be liked. You were built to be just. Serve virtue, not validation. The crowd is noisy. Let your conscience be louder. This is the final law. Stand up and listen. You weren't built to beg for likes. You weren't born to chase applause. You weren't designed to live for approval. You were made to live by code. Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Marcus Aurelius. That's not a suggestion. That's a challenge. Society critique. Tone a world obsessed with being seen. The Stoic moves in silence. In a world addicted to validation, the Stoic acts from values, not popularity, not image, virtue. Let me make this plain. Most men today are performers, not warriors. They dress the part, speak the lines, pretend to be strong, but inside they're slaves to opinion, to clout, to applause. Every post is a cry for validation, every conversation a performance, every goal built on external reward. But when the lights fade and the crowd goes silent, they're empty, because they've spent their lives chasing noise instead of building soul. Stoic contrast. The Stoic doesn't move for the crowd. He moves for truth. He keeps his word, even if no one hears it. He does the right thing, even if no one claps. He suffers with dignity. Even when others mock him, he wins with humility. Even when others demand a show. That's virtue. That's character. That's what makes you dangerous. Presence over performance. You walk into a room, everyone's gossiping, faking, flexing. You stay quiet. You don't need to prove anything, because you've already proven it to yourself. That's power. You kept the promise when no one was watching. You trained in the dark. You resisted temptation. You chose integrity. And now you radiate something real. That's the difference. Virtue builds gravity. Approval builds addiction. I will govern my life and thoughts as if the whole world were to see the one and read the other. Seneca. Can you say the same? Would you live differently if every thought and action was public? Or would you finally start living like someone worth respecting? Here's the shift. You don't live for approval. You live in a way that, even if stripped of everything, money, followers, praise, titles, you'd still respect the man in the mirror. That's the ultimate freedom. That's the warrior's path. You could lie. No one would know. You could cheat. No one's watching. You could slack. No one's checking. But you don't, because you're not here to be liked. You're here to live with honor. You're here to become the kind of man whose strength doesn't require witnesses. Cutting trittle truth tone. Cutting torse tie. And here's the truth most men avoid. Doing the right thing will often cost you. Doing the easy thing will cost you more. Your pride, your clarity, your soul. Don't live for followers. Live for principles. Don't chase attention. Build depth. Don't perform. Stand. Even if no one notices. Even if you walk alone. Because that walk is the only one that leads to real strength. Let the rest of the world bend for applause. You don't bend, you don't beg, you don't flinch, you stand, rooted in values, forged in discipline, powered by virtue. Here's your protocol. Choose one core value to live by this week. Truth, discipline, loyalty, integrity, focus. Before every major action, ask, is this aligned with my values, or am I chasing approval? Audit yourself daily. If you fold, fix it. If you stand firm, double down. Over time, you become unshakable, not because of what others think of you, but because of what you think of you. Final comment prompt. Stoic declaration. Comment this now. I don't live for approval. I live by virtue. Say it, then walk it, because when approval dies and your values remain, you've already won. You've already won. You've heard the 8 laws, and they weren't easy, because they weren't made to be. These aren't quotes to decorate your feed. These are weapons, forged in philosophy, sharpened by suffering, built to be lived, not liked. If you made it here, you're not average, you're not soft. You're ready. Ready to stop waiting, ready to stop negotiating, ready to live by law, the laws of the Stoic, the laws of the dangerous man. And now, there's only one thing left, one final command. The most brutal Stoic law isn't written, it's the one you must write yourself. Right now, your life, your habits, your calendar, that's your scroll. Write your law on it, and live it, like death is watching. Right now, comment this. I don't follow moods, I follow laws. Say it, then move, because in the end no one will remember what you felt. They'll remember what you did, and if you live by law, they'll remember you as one of the few, the disciplined, the dangerous, the Stoic. No more feelings, only law. Now go, lead yourself, and leave a mark that doesn't need a name.